Sergeant Radio Officer Irvin Jackson, Royal Artillery Maurice Lorry, Trooper Jack Stanley Maxwell, Sergeant Radio Officer Anthony Rosen, Corporal Leonard Stockler, Sergeant Pilot Louis Segaloff, Sergeant Observer Ian Alexander Zamek, and Sergeant Pilot Norman Henry Zamek.
Now, if I can call on our readers and candle lighters, beginning with Lisa and Peter, who very much represent CPJ.
Inscriptions on the walls of a cellar in Cologne, Germany, where Jews hid from the Nazis. I believe in the sun even when it is not shining. I believe in love even when feeling it not. I believe in God even when he is silent.
We're going to have a problem, I think, keeping... we may have to... Let's try again and see whether it'll... Okay. For the second reading, which comes from Anne Frank, Barry and Katrina. Katrina here too.
This is a small part from the Anne Frank diary dated 15th of July 1944. That's the difficulty in these times. Ideals, dreams and cherished hopes rise within us, only to meet the horrible truth and be shattered. It's really a wonder that I haven't dropped all my ideals, because they seem so absurd and impossible to carry out. Yet, keep them because in spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart. I simply can't build up my hopes on a foundation consisting of confusion, misery and death. I see the world gradually being turned into a wilderness. I hear the ever-approaching thunder which will destroy us too. I can feel the suffering of millions, and yet, if I look up at the heavens, I think that it will all come right. That this cruelty too will end, and that peace and tranquility will return again. In the meantime, I must uphold my ideals, for perhaps the time will come when I shall be able to carry them out.
Third reading is a piece which was written by my very, very good friend, colleague and teacher, Rabbi Hugo Gryn. He wrote it about his time in a concentration camp where he was with his father. And he said that one evening in December, his father had called him and a few other people together, and he showed them that he had been saving his ration of fat and turned it into a candle because it was Hanukkah. And Hugo said to his father, "This is ridiculous, you can't do that because you need to, it's keeping you alive." And his father said to him, "You and I once went 3 days without water. We've been 3 weeks almost without food, but you can't be 3 minutes without hope." Martin? Do we have a Martin in there? Martin?
Yeah, we are number 4.
And Ben?
Martin.
Martin Lindsay. But you're here.
Is Ben doing the thing?
Ben, you're going to light the candle.
In the presence of eyes which witnessed the slaughter, which saw the oppression the heart could not bear, and has witnessed the heart that once taught compassion until the days came to pass that crushed human feeling, I have taken an oath to remember it all, to remember, not once to forget. Forget not one thing to the last generation, when degradation shall cease to the last, to its ending, when the rod of instruction shall have come to conclusion. An oath, not in vain, passed over the night of the terror. An oath, no morning shall see me at fleshpots again. An oath, lest from this we learned nothing.
Rabbi?
Alan Bales.
Here,
Yes,
Ken.
it's
Proceed.
Alan.
Come.
All right.
And Diana.
These 3 lines were written by Hannah Senish, who of course was a member of Kibbutz Sdot Yam, as indeed I'm a member of Kibbutz Sdot Yam, and in fact I worked in the Hannah Senish library. I begin. There are stars whose light reaches the earth only after they themselves have disintegrated and are no more. There are men and women whose shining memory lights the world after they have passed from it. These lights which shine in the darkest night are those which illuminate for us the path.
And Hannah Senish, apart from being a heroine in the war, is also probably best known for a poem she wrote, which was turned into a song. Eli, Eli, shelo yigamer leolam, achol v'hayam, האדם החול בים רישוש של המים ברק השמיים תפילת האדם. O God, my God, I pray that these things never end. The sand and the sea, the rush of the water, the crash of the heavens, each human prayer.
Six and 1 4.
Well, thank you very much indeed. It's a true pleasure, indeed an honour to be standing in front of you here today. Rabbi Morris, thank you so much for what you've done to bring us all together. It's such a pleasure to see the great and the good of all parts of Bournemouth here today. We are living through a very turbulent period internationally, so to see different parts of the Abrahamic community come together as we're doing today can only be a good thing. I've been asked to give a reading by Sidney Greenberg and also recite a parable which you may be familiar with. Life. Life without hope is hopeless. If we could not hope for a second chance when life inflicts a severe defeat on us, if we could not hope for strength when we have been betrayed, if we could not hope for healing when we have been bruised, if we could not hope for eternity when the winter of our lives drives home the inescapable fact of our mortality, if in all these trials hope did not sustain us, then the burden of life would become insufferable. Now, according to an old parable, one summer night, 2 frogs fell into a bucket of milk. The first frog, realizing the hopelessness of the situation, promptly gave up and drowned. The second frog began thrashing around furiously with all its might. And the following morning, the farmer was surprised to find his bucket of milk had turned into butter. And there was the frog sitting on top of it. Let us all cling stubbornly to our hopes. It's they that keep us alive.